winning franchise, you must handle adversity. Injuries, bad breaks, tough hops, and frustrating losses are all part of the marathon regular season journey. But it is adversity that can also define a team. A losing skid can be a time when veterans step up and lead, when kids grow up and contribute, when coaches project confidence in their players by believing in their talent. Tonight, the Texas Rangers look to turn it back around with Colby Lewis leading the charge. The Rangers and the A's are next on Fox Sports Southwest. It's a breezy and cloudy night at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as the Rangers and the A's get set for game number 2 of 3 in this 3-game series. Texas trying to get this thing turned around and get back over 500, having fallen to 18-18 with the loss last night. Hi there, John Radigan and Tom Grieve with you at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington for game 2 of this series, and the Rangers send Colby Lewis out to the mound, Tom, and in his last 2 starts, the last one in particular, the results don't necessarily speak to everything, at least not the win-loss results. He's been pitching well.
Yeah, the last 2 starts, we've seen the Colby Lewis that we saw most of the season last year, especially in postseason play. He's gone 8 innings in each one of his last 2 starts. His last start was against Seattle. He struck out 11. The big thing in both these starts, he has 17 strikeouts. He's only walked 2. He walked 1 in each game. He had the breaking balls that we expect to see from him. He spotted his fastball the way he wanted to spot his fastball. And because he's had much better command, his pitch count is down significantly. 13.9 pitches per inning in his last 2 starts, almost 3 pitches per inning more in his first 4 starts.
And 11 strikeouts in that last start was a career high for Colby Lewis. He's just about ready. So is David Murphy and the rest of the squad. It's a different looking batting order. We'll have that for you. And the first pitch coming up next. It's time to play ball, y'all, from Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich now at Jack in the Box. As a reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designate a driver. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And Colby Lewis takes his final few warm-up tosses here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington as the fans hit the concession stands and get ready for a little baseball as we bring you the Oakland lineup. And it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines with DeJesus leading off tonight, followed by Barton, Sweeney, Willingham, who was in the 4-hole last night too. Matsui's back in at the DH. Suzuki, Ellis, LaRoche, and Cliff Pennington. And they'll all be facing Colby Lewis tonight. Here's the scouting report on him.
Overall, 6 starts. The ERA doesn't look that good at 5.21. Thursday, though, at Seattle, he pitched a complete game, went 8 innings, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. His last 2 starts against Oakland have gone very well. He's won them both with an ERA under 2. And I think when you look at Colby's season, you look at the last 2 starts and the direction he's headed. He's gone 8 innings in both those starts. His ERA is under 3. And it's 2 walks and 17 strikeouts. I think you can forget the first 4 games and focus more on what he's done lately. That's much more Colby Lewis-like.
He gets set to face DeJesus, who was out of the lineup last night. And he starts him off with a strike. .85 miles an hour with that first pitch. And that's strike 2 to DeJesus. 82 degrees at game time. Pretty thick cloud cover over Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And a very slight breeze tonight, relatively speaking, and compared to most nights here. High and in tight. And this is popped up to left field. David Murphy is back there and makes the play. And we show you who else is out there with Murph in the outfield. It's Bourbon and Craig Gentry getting his second start of the season. Beltre is back in the lineup at third with Elvis on the left side, Ian and Mitch on the right side. It's Mike Napoli behind the plate for Colby tonight. And there's Gentry, who was a defensive replacement on Saturday night against the New York Yankees and got the start on Sunday. And the first pitch to Derek Barton is fouled out of play. Gentry talked about the call-up that he got from Round Rock on Saturday, midday. Jumped in the car. He says he didn't stop anywhere. Not for any of the turkey sandwiches along the way. Didn't stop in West for a kolache.
Did he pack his clothes?
He may not. You know, they got stores in Dallas.
Well, they got it off. We got an off day on Thursday. He could always go back, maybe.
Yeah. He didn't want to waste any time getting here, and I can't blame him. And he suited up that night and got a chance to go in as a defensive replacement. A good win by the Rangers over the Yankees that night.
Well, that's usually the way it is. When a player is called up, it's that kind of a trip to the ballpark as quickly as you can. When you get sent down, you've got a couple of days before you have to report. And very few players are not going to stop to eat on the way back to the minor leagues.
Might get a dozen kolaches on the way to the minors. Elvis makes the play on the short left field grass. 2 away.
Beltre's probably telling Elvis, hey, look, when you win a Gold Glove, you can call me off of a pop-up.
He's got a big smile on his face, too.
You think I've ever caught a pop-up before, kid?
Yeah. I was catching pop-ups when you were still in diapers, kid. It's a great relationship that those two men share. Adrian's been a really good influence among the young Latin players in the Rangers clubhouse. And just a joy to watch at third base. Sweeney, the hitter now against Colby Lewis. Outside part of the plate, and that's strike 2. Since April the 23rd, the A's are one of the 3 best teams in the American League. Not a huge sample of the season, but 10-6 in their last 16 games, and only Tampa Bay and Cleveland have been playing better than Bob Guerin's squad for the last couple of weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. Another foul by Sweeney. And the 1-2. Ooh. Mike Napoli was starting to head toward the dugout.
Tried to bring that cutter back on the outside corner. Didn't quite get it there.
So the 2-2. It passed Elvis and into center field.
Sweeney getting a chance to play tonight as Connor Jackson gets an off night.
Sweeney's good against the Rangers. .310 average in 38 games against the Rangers all time. And Josh Willingham steps in. Speaking of good against the Rangers, 5 RBI last night. That's a season high for the A's. And he pops the first pitch up. Ian Kinsler ranges over for this one. He's got it, and that'll do it. A single and nothing more for the A's in the first. Here come the Ranger bats to support Colby Lewis. With more on that, we go down to Emily Jones.
Right, John. Ron Washington mixing things up a bit, and Julio Bourbon in the leadoff spot for the first time since the beginning of last season. He looks forward to bringing that aggressiveness to the leadoff spot.
I think it's going to be the same mentality. They expect me to do the same thing as if I was in the 9-hole in the leadoff spot. You know, once I get on, you know, just create havoc and go out there and get myself in scoring position so we can get some runs.
And, of course, Julio wanting to use that aggressiveness for good, not evil, making no mistakes on the base paths. He just wants to keep it clean and try to get those runs on the boards for the Rangers, guys.
All right, Emily, thank you very much. And it is quite a lineup change that Ron Washington has implemented for today. Anderson misses with that one, and it's 1-1. Julio in the leadoff spot for the first time since 9/26/10, the day after the Rangers clinched last year. Julio was in the leadoff spot. And here's the scouting report on Brett Anderson.
He's off to a solid start. 2.77 ERA. Only 8 walks in 48 innings. 97 ground ball outs. Keeps the ball down, makes it sink. His worst start, 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 runs against the Rangers. In fact, in his words after that start, it was an embarrassing start. It might have been the worst stuff I've ever had in a game. I think the thing that you can note about Anderson, his next start was against Cleveland. 9 innings, 2 runs, no walks in that game. He walked 4 against the Rangers. That's how many he's walked in all his other starts. He gave up the only 3 home runs he's given up all year against the Rangers in that game. And if you look at what he did his next time out, it was entirely different. And I don't think the Ranger hitters are entering this game thinking it's going to be a cakewalk based on what they did last time against him.
Julio slaps this one towards second, and it's taken by the shortstop Pennington. And following Bourbon in that newfangled batting order of Ron Washington's today is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and it's Elvis, Ian, and Michael for the first time ever in the cleanup spot in his career. Mitch Moreland is in the 5-hole. Then it's Beltre, Murphy, Napoli, and Craig Gentry. And Wash says, Tom, basically, you know, I'm a status quo guy. This is something I'm going to try, but I'm a status quo guy. Now, if we score 15 runs with this batting order, I might keep it this way, but he's just trying to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, I think managers do that from time to time. Some managers have gone so far as to put all the names in a hat and let someone pick the names out of a hat for the batting order. So this is not quite as haphazard as that. The way Julio Bourbon has played the last week or 10 days, he looks like a leadoff hitter. That's not a problem. Adrian's been struggling a little bit. He's moved down. Michael Young's been the most consistent hitter all year long. He's hitting 4th. Kinsler can hit anywhere in the lineup and had a couple of hits last night after some extra batting practice, so he's hitting 3rd. So it's not an off-the-wall kind of lineup. And I think at this stage, after the team has struggled a little bit, it merits the opportunity.
Elvis on strikes there. Second out of the inning.
Well, already you see something that he didn't have in his last start against the Rangers. That's his curveball. His curveball was just rolling up to the plate without much of a sharp break to it, and a lot of them above the knees. And right off the bat, second hitter, you see a strikeout on a hard, sharp breaking curve right where he wanted to throw it.
Ian's batted up and down the batting order throughout his career here in the Rangers. But the last time he was in the 3-hole was late July of last year. There you see Nelly Cruz and Josh Hamilton surrounding Jose Vasquez, the Rangers strength coach. One of the reasons there has been a bit of an offensive shortage of late. You lose those 2 guys from the lineup. But Josh is feeling better. You saw some of the highlights of him doing more baseball activities during Rangers Live, the pregame show. Ian takes a 5-pitch walk. And he'll be the first base runner for the Rangers with Michael Young coming up. Michael had one of those home runs against Anderson the last time. As we take a look at some of that video, if you missed it on Rangers Live, of Josh earlier today, more baseball activity, throwing the baseball, playing a little catch, working with Gary Pettis, the Rangers outfield instructor. Outside to Young.
Yeah, I guess the good part of the injury that Josh has is that while he's waiting for it to heal, he doesn't have a lot of pain, and so he can pretty much do most baseball activity, which will have him in pretty good shape when it finally does heal. It's not like he can't do anything until it's completely healed and then start baseball activity, which would probably be another week or 10 days. As soon as that thing is healed, he'll be in pretty good shape to go out and play a little bit of maybe some minor league baseball for a while. I'm not sure if how long they'll send him on a rehab, but they have to play some games, you would think, before he comes back. But once that thing's healed, he should be pretty much almost ready to go.
Yeah, there was thought today that perhaps Josh would be on a minor league rehab assignment about the time the Rangers are on the end of their next road trip, which would have them in Philadelphia a week from this weekend. That may be when Josh is working out his rehab, and soon after that, late May, early June, he would be eligible to come back into the Rangers lineup. Nelly, meantime, is on a straight 15-day DL, and he is in a similar situation, extent of injury-wise, to what Nefi Feliz was in. Nelly believes he didn't need the disabled list, maybe 4 or 5 days, to get over that strained quad. But the Rangers are playing it safe with him so that that injury won't linger on Nelly Cruz's right quad. They've taken a cautious approach with several of them so far, trying to protect their longevity for the latter part of the season. Fouled off by Michael to make it 3-2. Yeah, and Alexi Ogando fits into the cautious approach arena as well. Sat him out of Sunday's start. He said he could have pitched, the blister notwithstanding. He has a new nail, an acrylic nail on his right index finger. Ian was going, but it's fouled away. But once again, the Rangers trying to give Alexi those extra days off to promote the healing of that blister that's plagued him since his very first start of the season. Swing and a miss, and on the 7th pitch of the at-bat, Michael goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts in the inning by Brett Anderson. Ian stranded, and there's no score.
All right, hey, John, hey, Tom, and check out this nice piece of headwear. Very nice. Way to go. Looking good. And also looking good before the game was a few elementary school kids. That's right. 5,000 school kids throughout the year participated in the MCA Texas Rangers Fitness All-Star Program before the game. It was Carson Elementary that was recognized for their commitment to fitness and was named MCA Texas Rangers Fitness All-Star School of the Year. And for more information about the MCA Fitness Texas Rangers All-Star Program, please log on to TexasRangers.com, TexasRangers.com. John?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Hideki Matsui will lead things off against Colby Lewis. With his 171 average against left-handed pitchers, Hideki sat last night's game out.
The last time we saw him swing, it would look pretty good against the left-hand pitcher.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Another strike to him. Matsui, what Tom's alluding to, won the only extra inning game the Rangers have played in walk-off fashion with a home run off of the lefty Darren Oliver on our last day in Oakland, which was a week ago yesterday. This one is popped up. Shallow center. Julio Bourbon. First out of the second. Colby needed just 16 pitches to get through the first, and 7 of those 16 were thrown to Brian Sweeney, who wound up singling in the at-bat. "12 strikes and 4 balls in the first inning for Colby Lewis. And that's a strike one. Kurt Suzuki has a 5-game hitting streak against the Rangers this year. That includes all 4 from the series in Oakland and the one last night. You see the Fox tracks on that last shot. How could it be 1-1 when those pitches were on top of each other? All 3 of them basically right on top of each other. 2 of them deemed balls by Sam Holbrook. Grounded to Beltre. He's up with it. Throw over to Mitch Moreland, and Suzuki is out. So it'll bring up Mark Ellis.
Yeah, the Fox tracker against Matsui showed maybe a liberal strike zone. A couple of those pitches might have been slightly out of the strike zone, close, and then not so liberal to Suzuki. I'd say that one fooled Mark a little bit.
A little bit. Another first pitch strike from Colby. And that one misses away. Ellis hits this one in the air and toward left field. David Murphy over to make the play. And that will do it. 1, 2, 3 go the A's. Good inning by Colby Lewis. No score headed to the bottom of the second. Follow the Rangers with MLB.com at Bat11, the app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. Mitch Moreland batting fifth for the first time ever in his career, and he takes a strike from Anderson. Brett needed 22 pitches in the first inning. 12 strikes, 10 balls, and he did walk a man.
Anderson only had 19 starts last year. He was on the disabled list twice. He's having a great season. Had a 2.80 ERA, a winning record. Only walked 22 batters in 112 innings. He throws a lot of strikes. Throws a hard sinker, 90, 92 miles an hour. Really good curveball, changeup. And just like Trevor Cahill, same age, they're both 23. For a young kid, he really knows how to pitch. He looks like he's been pitching for 10 years.
Mitch had a home run off Cahill last night, and we'll take a look back at it as Mitch Moreland did something that not many have been able to do. And now he hits one into shallow center field, and he's on with a base hit.
It'll put Mitch over 300 for the season so far.
First hit of the game for the Rangers. Mitch represents the second base runner, and it brings up Adrian Beltre. Just the second game of the year in which he has not occupied the cleanup spot. He was out of the lineup yesterday with an off day. And he's batting sixth tonight. He had 35 straight starts in the cleanup spot. One of those is designated hitter. And in 34 of the first 35, he was the third baseman.
Anderson's got a good pickoff move.
Yeah.
He's picked off 5 base runners this year.
It's already a career high for him. He's only had 4 in each of the previous 2 seasons.
We've already seen 2 or 3 swings tonight that you didn't see in Oakland in 5 innings on his breaking ball. It's an entirely different pitch for him today than it was in that one start.
The 0-2 pitch. Missed inside, and it's 1-2. Rangers trying to improve upon a 1-4 record against the A's so far this year. They won the season series a year ago from Oakland, 10-9. And he hit him. Ouch.
Well, the one thing the Rangers, if the A's are able to keep their young pitchers without having to trade them or lose them to free agency, then it's going to be a tough thing to beat the A's in any series for a long time with the 3 kids they've got in the rotation, Cahill, Anderson, and Gio Gonzalez. Those 3 stack up pretty well when you talk about young pitching staffs around baseball. There might be some like Philadelphia that have some veteran guys like Halladay, like Oswalt, like Cliff Lee, but as far as kids who are 23, 25 years old, not many teams can feature this type of experience. Kids that are in their 3rd year in the big leagues already, and the quality that they offer.
Yeah, all you can hope when you start a 3-game series with them is that you only see one of them. Rangers are going to see all 3 of them in this 3-game set. But right now there are runners at first and second here in the second inning with nobody out and David Murphy at the plate. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 11 games, a .300 average in that duration. And that'll make it 2-1 to David. Loved his comments after the game yesterday. He said, look, we'll think about this loss for a little while here in the room tonight, but we're going to forget about it tomorrow. It's been one of the true hallmarks and calling cards of this Rangers group. They have been very resilient and can put things like last night's loss behind them.
Almost a strike.
And that was.
There's such a huge difference that that pitch, which actually was a little outside before this pitch, is called a ball. Now the count's 3-1.
Yeah.
And David probably doesn't even swing at that pitch. Such a difference between a one pitch. Can be such a difference. Pitch called a ball, pitch called a strike. Between a 3-1 count and a 2-2 count.
Now it's Mike Napoli. There's a strike from Anderson to him. He's had 6 walks in his last 7 starts. And now he is behind. No balls and 2 strikes. "13 home runs in his career against the A's. It's the most against any other team from all his days in the Angels uniform. Swing and a miss. And it's back-to-back strikeouts after the first 2 men reached, and it brings up Craig Gentry.
Pretty good curveball he's firing up there right now. Well, a lot of them, too. One good thing, though, is pitch count's up there. This will be his 41st pitch.
Here comes Gentry. Had a walk and a single in that start against the Yankees on Sunday. And he's swinging at the first one. Inside, but in there for a strike. Yeah. Looked like it may have been too far inside, but called a strike. That one's fouled off. So it's no balls and 2 strikes to Gentry, who was hitting .239 with Round Rock in 25 games. He had driven 9 runs home. He's got a chance to do that here. Rangers were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position last night, and they've started off 0 for here tonight.
Well, he's throwing one curveball after another right now.
Guess he figures he'll stick with what's working.
Yeah, not a bad pitch to throw. It's pretty tough to hit.
Yep.
He will be throwing his 45th pitch, though.
And actually a pretty even split, isn't it, there on the breakdown? 51% fastballs, 49% off speed. And here comes the 1-2. No swing on appeal. Evens it up at 2-2 to Craig Gentry. Runner at first base is Beltre. Moreland is down at second. The 2-2 to Gentry. In there for a strike 3 called. Anderson strikes out the side. 2 are stranded, and there's no score at the end of 2. By Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT Time for the 3rd inning. Rangers ballpark in Arlington. Colby Lewis back out there. 16 pitches in the first, just 11 needed in that 2nd inning. And he's thrown a first pitch strike to 6 of the 7 he's faced. That means this is the 8th man. Andy LaRoche. And that's a strike.
Well, one thing that's held true is in the pregame, in the open to the show, we talked about Kobe's last 2 starts, and he was averaging somewhere around 13.5 pitches per start, per inning. And right now, that's about where he is, too.
Yeah, exactly. At 27 in the first 2.
Whoa, watch out.
High and in tight to LaRoche.
Boy, I'm going to dive back. I've been lying on my back if that pitch came at me.
Grounded foul to even it up at 2-2. And this one's grounded towards short. Adrian Beltre cuts it off and makes the play to Mitch Moreland for the first out of the inning. Very special treat coming your way as we see Adrian's footwork again. Special treat coming up in the 4th inning. Top of the 4th inning, we will chat with the Rangers president and CEO, Nolan Ryan. We'll do it every Tuesday. On home games, anyway. Nolan will join us from his seat down in the owner's box. And share his thoughts about this Rangers team with you. They're 18-18 right now on the year, having battled through a tremendous number of injuries so far in the first 5 weeks of the season. Pennington's the batter. He's ahead 2-1. And he slices that foul and out of play. Popped up to left field. David's got it.
Number of weekly hit pop-ups in this game.
And we check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, if you're starting pitcher when your team is struggling, there's not a whole lot you can do about it, with the exception of every 5th day when you go to the mound. Colby says the most important thing is to stick to the routine and just be a teammate.
You be a teammate. I mean, in between. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you're out there on the bench. You know, they're out there working, and you go down there and you support them, and you do what you can in between your starts. So.
And obviously the work in between starts has done Colby well, especially considering his last 2 outings. Hopefully a sign of things to come here in his 3rd straight, hopefully productive outing, guys.
Yeah, so far so good, Emily. We appreciate it very much. Sees the top of the order again with DeJesus back up there. He hit one of those fairly weak balls to David Murphy his first time up. This one's hit a little harder toward the gap in left center field. Julio Bourbon has it, though. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Colby Lewis. Headed to the bottom of the 3rd with no score.
People that might not otherwise be able to come to a game, and they go into prisons and minister to the prisoners and help them when they come out so that they can adjust to being on the outside.
Very good. Keep up the great work. A lot of them seeing their very first baseball game. You guys having a good time, huh? There we go. All right, John.
All right, Jim, thank you very much, and thanks to the Women's Club. Julio Bourbon slices this one toward left field. Oh, some miscommunication, but Pennington.
I don't think Willingham saw it. Willingham, that would have been his ball all the way, and he wasn't playing very deep. He just never saw it. Luckily, Pennington stuck with it. See, he thinks he sees it, but by the time he did see it, he couldn't get to it. Pennington says, "Oh, I guess it's mine.
I better get it."
Yeah, he got it.
Nice recovery by Cliff Pennington, first out of the inning, and it brings up Elvis.
John, we have a special thanks for the brownies that were sent up to us today.
Yeah.
From Billy Reed from Arlington. She not only sent us the brownies, she also sent us a couple of her cookbooks. A lot of great recipes in there. And Billy, thank you very much. She had some illness in her family, and she's 81 years old, and she writes to us that watching Ranger baseball last year helped her get through some very difficult times in her life. And we appreciate that much. Appreciate that very much, Billy.
Yeah, it's a very well done cookbook called Honey's Home Cooking. We greatly appreciate that. We'll make the brownies that she sent up.
Well, if the rest of the recipes in there are as good as the brownies, there's a whole bunch of good things in there.
Should be chock full as Elvis draws a 4-pitch walk from Anderson. That is the one thing, as we mentioned, the Rangers have done pretty well against him thus far, has worked the pitches. He's up to 52. He needed 46 to get through 2. Colby Lewis hasn't thrown 46 to get through 3. He's at 40. And now here's Ian. He walked the first time up. First pitch strike to him. Battle of wills on the base paths here with Elvis Andrus over there. The best base stealer in the American League this year against Brett Anderson, the best pickoff man. Elvis with a pretty big lead. And the pitch misses for a ball. Ian batting third in Ron Washington's reconfigured batting order for the day, as Wash tries to shake things up from this offensive malaise. Ball and 2 strikes now to Ian. And here's the 1-2. Inside, and we take a look at our Ford leaderboard. And the league leaders in the stolen base category: Elvis, Ichiro, Ellsbury, and Sam Fuld. But Elvis, the only one who has not yet been caught. He's 11 for 11. Grounded to second. Ellis up with it to Pennington. Over to Barton. And it's a double play. Rangers are out of the third. We chat with Nolan Ryan in the top of the 4th. Welcome into the program. Very happy to do so. The president and CEO of the Texas Rangers. Nolan Ryan joining John Radigan and Tom Grieve here in the booth. And Nolan, we appreciate you stopping by from the owner's box there to say hi, and a pretty good start by Colby Lewis so far.
Well, it looks to me like, guys, we got us a pitcher's duel going on.
Nolan, we had a question in the pregame show about Alexia Gondo, and I know there's some parallels to early in your career with a blister. What can you tell us about his blister and what the forecast might be down the road, how to get rid of it, and how you handled that when you were playing?
Well, I really think, Tom, from what I saw this weekend of it, I think that the fact that Kellis came off and now he'll be in a maintenance mode with it, and I think as long as we maintain it properly, hopefully that it won't be a reoccurring problem. And that's really the key to a situation like that is how you maintain it, and so it doesn't get a build-up there and end up getting another blister and the whole callus come off.
Nolan, did you have recurring problems with blisters in your career?
Yes, I did, until I learned to manage it. And, the way I managed it is the last thing I do before I go out to pitch is take a surgical scalpel and shave off my fingertips so I didn't have anything there to blister. It would just be down to kind of the last layer of skin, and it was a feel deal. And so you're really hesitant to get someone to start doing that until they develop a feel for it, because if you take too much off, then it's really a challenge to pitch that particular day.
So instead of a blister, you just reduce it to a bloody pulp with the scalpel down there, huh?
Well, if you don't watch what you're doing, you can. But the other thing about his finger and his blister is it's on his index finger, which is really unusual, because it's usually your second finger, which is the last point in which your hand touches the ball, and that's where the most force is. But because of the unique way he throws it, his develops on his index finger, and it's up against the nail, so it's different than I've ever seen.
Is that something that happens on any particular pitch, or it just happens whenever you throw the ball?
Well, for me, it happened on my fastball because I threw across the seams. And with him, I don't know if it's happening on his slider or on his fastball. But because of the language challenge that we have, it's hard to truly communicate with him and get a true feel for what he's experiencing there with how he's throwing it.
Colby Lewis still doing great here, facing Sweeney now, and you saw him get the 3 unassisted. Derek Barton was out, and now it's a ball and 2 strikes to Sweeney as we chat with the Rangers president and CEO Nolan Ryan. And there was further questions about Alexi, and a lot of people wonder about him going back into the bullpen. It seems to me the way he's shown as a starter, Nolan, he probably stays in the rotation, at least for now.
I would think so, John. I think that, he's definitely one of the stabilizing forces in our rotation, and I think we get a handle on this blister situation. We'll see his innings expanded, and I think as efficient as he is with his pitches, he's very capable of pitching us late into the game.
It's amazing sometimes the video that goes with the words. You couldn't see it, but as you were saying, stabilizing influence, he had his hat turned upside down backwards, rally cap fashion, with a huge smile on his face. He is a young, fun kid, too, isn't he, Nolan?
Well, he's had a very unique story about getting here and pitching in the big leagues, and he's on top of his game, so it's certainly understandable about him enjoying the position that he's in.
Nolan, not to change the subject, but one of the bright spots in the organization the first month and a half of the season has to be the way the fans have come out and support the ball club. That's got to be something you and the organization's pretty proud of.
We're very thrilled about it and how the fans have rallied behind us and have stuck with us this year, and the support that we've gotten from our fan base here in North Texas and the Metroplex. So we couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, 688,000 through the weekend were in attendance here at Rangers Ballpark. That's an increase of over 200,000 fans, and obviously you look for no end in sight to that. I mean, the fans are going to keep coming out and supporting this team, aren't they, Nolan?
Well, I really believe that they're wholeheartedly behind us, and as a team, we would like to be playing better baseball and give them something to cheer about. And I feel like that in a short period of time, we're going to have people back in our lineup, and I think we'll see a better brand of baseball than we've seen over the last couple of weeks.
Now it's Willingham at the plate, and that's a strike to him to even things up at 1-1.
I really believe tonight Kobe is probably has got command of all his pitches probably as well as any time he has this year.
He's thrown 55 of them so far, 38 for strikes. That one's grounded to Beltre. Over to Ian for one. Back to Mitch Moreland, and it's a double play. That will do it for the A's here in the fourth. That'll do it for Nolan. Thanks for joining us, Nolan.
Okay, thanks
Nolan.
guys.
All right, we appreciate it very much. Double play to end it, and there's no score headed to the bottom of the fourth. Southwest is brought to you by Steel. For dependable trimmers and lightweight blowers, visit SteelDealers.com. And by Whataburger, just like you like them. Cleanup man is Michael Young tonight, and Michael will start off the bottom of the fourth inning for the Rangers against Brett Anderson. Brett got him on strikes his first time up.
John, I don't know if you saw Leo there
I didn't
in
see
the picture. You need to recognize him as one of the proud members of our fantasy football league.
Oh, no kidding.
That's right.
Oh, there's Leo. I didn't see that. I wasn't looking at the monitor.
There
What
he is.
the heck's Leo doing tonight?
Watching that base hit.
Yeah, he's enjoying that and some peanuts, it looks like. And it's time for our AT trivia question. And tonight, we are asking you who holds the Rangers record for the longest errorless streak by an outfielder. Answer to the AT&T trivia question coming your way in the next half inning. Leo, who we showed normally a part of our Fox broadcast team as well, not just a member of the Fantasy Football League. But he got a night off. Good for him. We can cheer the Rangers to victory here as Mitch Moreland fouls it off. Mitch had a single his first time up. He led off the second inning with a single. got stranded at second base. And he hits this one hard into right field. Michael Young stops at second base. It was just hit so hard that it got out to DeJesus quickly.
He got a decent curveball to hit. It stayed up a little bit. But the other side of it is Anderson's thrown a lot of curveballs in this ball game, and none of them have been hit very hard until that one. Mitch, left-hand hitter, left-hand pitcher. A couple of base hits tonight. Had a great swing at that one. Just missed getting it up in the air a little bit. Would have been a home run as hard as he hit it.
2 for 2 on the night for him, and now it's Adrian Beltre who took one off of his foot last time up. He and Michael share third place in the American League in that RBI category with 26 each. And with 7 home runs, Adrian's tied for 8 in the league. Fouled on the third base side. Just like in the second inning, the Rangers have runners at first and second with nobody out. That situation was followed by back-to-back-to-back strikeouts in the second. See if the Rangers can do a little damage to Anderson here in the bottom of the fourth inning. He's at 65 pitches. And he's at 2-2 with Beltre. Still a pretty even split. And that one misses to run it full. 3-2, that's the count on Adrian. David Murphy waiting on deck. A humid and not very breezy night here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah, there's no jet stream tonight. Watching batting practice, you had to really hit one to get it out of right field today. Won't be any of those Derek Jeter balls hitting into the bullpen today.
It's not easy to hit home runs off of these A's starters either. They've allowed only 2, the starters have, in the last 64 1/3 innings. And that would be downright windless as you take a look at those Texas flags out on the office building in center field. Grounded down the line in third. It's a fair ball. Both runners advance. It's a great play by LaRoche just to get one.
Yeah, it was a nice play. A little luck, it goes down in the corner for a couple of runs. As it is, if you're going to ground out, at least the runners have moved up, so it serves as essentially a sacrifice. Nice play to get one out on that ball, though.
Wow. Way into foul territory, and then the long throw by LaRoche to Barton. And now it's David Murphy. He's a 274 man against the A's all time. That's in 55 career games. Runners are now at second and third with 1 out. That means there are 2 men in scoring position. In spite of the 0 for 7 last night, the Rangers are .305 with runners in scoring position, a .305 average.
He's starting to hang that curveball now. First couple of innings, that curveball was breaking sharply down below the knees, and now it's starting to hang and not break quite as much. Of course, that one just slipped out of his hand. Only times this year where he's walked more than one in a game has been against the Rangers.
Yeah.
Walked 2 more today. 8 on the season. 6 of them have been against the Rangers. 10 on the season, I should say.
And the 3-0 pitch. Outside, make it 11 on the year. Bases are loaded with Rangers. Mike Napoli coming to the plate. And Brett Anderson is in a jam. Mike's a .267 hitter against lefties. And he squares off against the big lefty from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Anderson's career high in walks is 4. He's got 3 already tonight. Nice job by Suzuki with a runner at third base to keep that one in front of him.
Well, the pitch that had really been his bread and butter through 2 innings has kind of deserted him now. And now he's behind 2-0. I throw a strike right here. Don't help him out. Get your pitch.
And he didn't help him. And he didn't throw a strike. So it's 3-0. And the bases are loaded. Mike Napoli against Brett Anderson. Taking all the way, makes it 3-1.
Yeah, here you don't want to walk a run in, but at the same time, you groove that same fastball again, he might just hit it right out of here. A tough situation for any pitcher to be in right here.
And he walked him. Run comes home. Rangers have the lead on a bases loaded walk to Mike Napoli. His 7th walk in the last 8 games and 17th on the year. And it was a big one.
Again, he's walked 12 guys now on the year. 8 of them have been against the Rangers. 4 in the last start, 4 in this start. And in between the 2 starts against the Rangers, he had a 9-inning start where he didn't walk a batter. So you have to think of something, a little something's going on when he pitches against the Rangers.
And Dr. Pepper brings you a great deal for Rangers home games in May. Upper level tickets for only $10 or Lexus Club Terrace tickets for $15. Bring any Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper can to Rangers Ballpark in Arlington or enter Dr. Pepper is the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. Now it's Craig Gentry, and you see the bullpen getting busy down there. It's David Percy, the lefty. Gentry did a good job drawing bases on balls at the minor league level. He had 11 in 25 games in Round Rock. But he's quickly behind 0-2.
I have to think Craig had curveball in the back of his mind. He saw a lot of curveballs in his last at bat, 3 or 4 in a row, and then he snuck a fastball by him looking for a strikeout.
That one misses, and it'll be 1-2 to Gentry. Whose career minor league average is .298. And he plays a great defensive outfield. And another one misses. It'll even things up at 2-2. Bases are still loaded with Rangers. 9-man Craig Gentry at the plate. Texas not wanting to let Brett Anderson off this hook. There's only one out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 run in. And that one is grounded in the hole. There comes another run. Stopping at third base is David Murphy. RBI single for Craig Gentry. And it's 2-0 Rangers.
Well, that'd be a great feeling for Craig to get the call up, get an opportunity to play. He had a base hit in his last start. He gets a fastball to hit right here and gets himself a base hit and an RBI.
Here comes Julio Bourbon. Anderson's thrown 11 strikes and 15 balls in the inning.
He's only had 1 quick inning, and that was last inning because of the double play.
Yeah. Julio, if you've missed the beginning of the game, is the leadoff man tonight. He's occupied the 9 hole in all of his other starts this year, but Ron Washington shook things up today. Julio, who started the 2010 season as the Rangers would-be leadoff man, is back in that spot, at least for tonight. Wash says it could well be a one-time thing. This one's chopped to first base. Coming home with it is Barton. And they get him. Murphy's out at plate.
What a play by Suzuki. That's a beautiful play. Barton knew he had only a chance to get 1 out, and so he made the long throw home and bounced it. And Suzuki scoops it just like a first baseman scooping a ball in the dirt. What a nice play.
Almost lost it, as you saw. He had to re-grip it. But he made the stretch and he made the play. Bases are still loaded. There are 2 out now, though. And it brings up Elvis. There you see the catcher. And here come the pitches by inning. Number getting up there, 86 already. And this is his highest pitch count inning. The next one will be his 30th. And that misses.
Yeah, he just can't get his curveball over this inning. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts through 2 innings. 3 of the 5 strikeouts were on his curveball. And one thing the Rangers have done is they've started to lay off it. They swung at that curveball down in the dirt early. Now that they've seen it, they're laying off it. And he hasn't thrown many for a strike. When he has thrown it for a strike, that's the ball that Moreland ripped into right field for a base hit. Good hitters count right here. I'll look for a fastball.
The 2-0 pitch to Elvis. Grounded to third. And LaRoche makes the play. And the side's retired. But the Rangers break through with a couple of runs and lead it 2-0 after 4. AT&T trivia question. We're wondering tonight who holds the Rangers record for the longest errorless streak by an outfielder. How about my broadcast partner, Tom Grieve? 183 games from April 25th, 1972, all the way until June 24th of 75.
I had 14 putouts over that period of time.
But no errors.
If it came right to me, I caught it.
No errors at all. And playing in this game is David DeJesus, who's now got a 271-game errorless streak working. Longest in the bigs.
You know, someone asked me that question a couple of years ago. I didn't have the slightest idea that actually was true.
You hold records you don't even know about.
Well, you know, you go through a time where a lot of that time I was a designated hitter, didn't play a lot in the outfield.
Steve Busby probably has a few records that he doesn't even know about too, don't you, Buzz?
I know about the two that I'm sure of, yeah, and those are not records I really want to get into.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the 2 no-hitters.
No. That's
no, the other ones, yeah.
Yeah, the other ones. Those are not.
We're not going to bring those
up.
up.
No, we're not going to talk about those.
We'll keep those under the table for now.
It did have to do with errors, though.
So is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. In the air. Matsui sends Bourbon back to the wall, or to the track anyway, and almost to the wall.
Not today, Hideki. That ball's about halfway up Greens Hill in one of those Yankee games.
Timing is everything. You got to pick the nights to get those up.
That ball's not going anywhere tonight. Well, it's going, but wherever it goes, you earned it today.
Yeah, one of those nights where the air is kind of heavy around here, Buzz. Pitchers love these kind of nights.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Don't have to worry about staying loose. You just go out there and work all you want. It's perfect.
Were you one of those pitchers, Buzz, or players who liked the hot weather way better than the cold weather, or did you mind the cold weather?
No, I didn't mind the cold, Tom. The only thing that bothered me was if it was cold and windy, so I couldn't get a feel. I couldn't keep a perspiration on my hands or arms or anything. That was what I found difficult. And I think part of it had, being a slider ball pitcher, the feel was really important.
Right. What about as a slider is one of the main pitches for you?
This
should
one's
be an out to
left.
David. What about when the wind is blowing at your back, in, or in your face? Which way did you like to throw the slider the best?
I like to have a hurricane blowing straight in, and I'll worry about the thing not breaking very much.
You wanted the extra velocity on it?
Yeah. Well, I wanted them to have to hit a 3-iron, a low 3-iron through the wind.
Not so much the pitch,
to
but
get
what
it
they
out.
had to hit.
Yeah.
And now it's Mark Ellis who takes a strike from Colby. Talked about pitchers being able to go out and work hard in a night like this. Anderson's had to work a lot harder than Colby so far, hasn't he?
Anderson went through the first time around the batting order for the Rangers pretty handily, and all of a sudden the Rangers said, whoa, wait a minute. We've seen that breaking ball a lot. We're not going to handle that.
Another fly ball.
For a strike.
And Gentry shows a little bit of his range out there. An 8-pitch inning for Colby Lewis. And the Rangers still lead it 2-0. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Priest in 3D in theaters May 13th. And now it's Ian Kinsler. And a great night to bring the family out to the ballpark. And Ian hits the first pitch towards center field. Sinking liner caught by Sweeney out there. And that's the first out of the inning. John Radigan with Tom Grieve and Steve Busby up here in the booth. And we were talking in the break about Colby Lewis's command. He's got a pretty good command tonight.
This is as good as I've seen him have this year, John. That the fastball command has been tremendous in that first inning. Boy, he really set the tone, just nailing down both corners. And what I like to see from Colby is his ability to come inside on an 0-2 pitch and then back it up with another fastball in there. So you're not, if the hitter's thinking, well, he backed me off the plate, so he's going to waste, that was a waste pitch, he's going to go away. Boom, right back in there. And then you have the hitters guessing at your intent.
And they haven't guessed right very often. At least not tonight. Rangers took a 2-0 lead with a couple in the fourth inning. It's now Michael Young, the cleanup man, batting here in the fifth, and it's down for a base hit against the wall. Michael rounds first. He's headed to second. #14th double of the year for Michael.
They make him get the curveball up, then it becomes a little bit more hittable. The ones they were swinging at early in the game weren't strikes. They're hard to lay off of. But the Rangers have been doing that since the first inning. It's got the pitch count way up there now.
Michael Young safe at second. Safe and secure. New York Life.
I think the Michael Young kid's got a chance to be a pretty good player.
I don't think I've ever seen him look any better than he has so far this season. When you're down there in batting practice.
Moreland to right. Play is made. Michael's tagging and heading to third.
Just missed that. He got a little bit off the end of the bat. Watching Michael hit in batting practice, it looks like the ball's jumping off his bat better right now than at any time that I've seen him. It looks stronger. Bat looks quicker. That wasn't that far from being into the seats right there.
Mitch had a couple of singles before that flyout, one of which was hit really hard. But now Michael Young is at third base. He scored the first run of the game for the Rangers. Came home on that bases loaded walk to Mike Napoli. Talk to Michael about batting in the cleanup spot. And it's just amazing to hear the guy. Nothing phases him. His approach is the same. He's like, I don't care about what order I am in the batting order. It's the situation I find myself in the game, how I approach in that bat. Beltre hits this one a long way. Left center field. Gone! A home run! Adrian Beltre. A two-run shot, and the Rangers lead it 4-0.
Well, Anderson's given up 4 home runs this year. All 4 of them have been to the Rangers. He's walked 12, and 8 of those have been to the Rangers. So he has not enjoyed pitching against the Rangers very much. That's not even a strike, I don't think. Yeah, borderline strike, high strike.
I would have liked to have seen how far that ball would have gone on a night where the wind was normal. Man, that ball was crushed.
Adrian had gone 15 games without a home run, but he doesn't make it through game number 16 without the Lone Star long ball. He knocks it out, and the Rangers have knocked Anderson out of the game, too. Now with 2 out in the bottom of the 5th inning, thanks to the 2-run homer by Adrian Beltre. And as if it's not hard enough to hit a home run, then he has to go back to the dugout and protect his head from his teammates who are all trying to pat him on his noggin. He's not through yet.
Hey, let the poor guy enjoy his home run.
Every one of them want to give him just a little tap on the head. It's a love tap, but Adrian doesn't like it when
I'm
people
Adrian.
touch
I
his
know
head.
what I'm saying to Tommy Hunter. So do you, Buzz.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Here's David Percy.
And
You want to touch my head, get on the active roster, kid.
It has nothing to do with please and thank you.
Percy against Murphy. David fouls that one. Make it 1-1. Percy acquired by the A's in an early season trade. April the 18th, they made a trade with Toronto to get David Percy. He's done fairly well since coming over. Hasn't allowed a run in 5 of his 6 appearances. But David Murphy's got a hitter's count against him. It's 3-1. Oh, strike on the outside part of the plate.
That side of the strike zone has been a little bit liberal. Oh, that's a pretty good pitch.
Close, yeah.
Strike.
The pitcher sure says so. Murph into center field. First hit of the game for David.
So far, so good for Ron's new lineup.
Yeah, he may not just do it for one day if it's going to produce like this. Stay with a hot hand. That was part of the motivation for getting Julio Bourbon, who's been one of the hottest Rangers hitters, into the leadoff spot today.
Yeah, we were talking about that, John, on the pregame show about Rangers 9 base hits last night. Couldn't really put anything together back to back to back, and that's why they only had a couple of runs. But, you know, Ron, whether it was intentional or not, put the 5 guys who were swinging the bats best up there at the top of the order.
Napoli with a charge into this one, and it's off the wall. Deep center field, rounding third, headed for home is David Murphy. He is in standing. A double by Mike Napoli. That ends his drought, and the Rangers lead it 5-0.
Right fielder, Greg Gentry.
Yeah, might put a charge in that one. No chance for Sweeney in center field. Ball got over his head in a hurry.
Dave Anderson waving Murph home as Mike had been 3 for his last 35 at bats. Big RBI double there. Second RBI of the game for him. And now Gentry will see if he can get another one. He had an RBI single his last time up in the 4th inning. He drove Mitch Moreland home with the 2nd run of the game. And he fouls that one back off Percy. Gentry, the 2009 Rangers minor league defender of the year. He's He's already shown us some of his range out there in right field. Percy misses with that one. 2-2. And the pitch. Fouled back. Somebody made a nice catch over there. Nice Tuesday night crowd here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. They were expecting north of 30,000. Looks like they've got that. And the 2-2 pitch. Right at the shortstop. Pennington makes the play. And that'll do it for the Rangers. But it was a great inning, thanks in part to the Adrian Beltre home run. First in 15 games. And the Rangers now lead at 5-0. Buzz, thanks for you. We'll see you on Rangers Live.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Line score leads Oakland 5-0. And John and Tom, look who I'm with here. This is Texas A&M Women's National Championship basketball head coach Gary Blair. And you grew up in the Dallas area, and you're a big baseball fan, aren't you?
I love baseball. I just happen to coach basketball, but most of us basketball coaches are guys that couldn't hit the slider that had to do something else. But, we got it. Can of corn.
Yeah, can of corn. Great catch there by David Murphy. What's life been after winning the national championship at A&M?
It's just been great for our kids, our university, and I think it's been great for the state of Texas because all of a sudden a team that won the national championship does not have to have all the McDonald's All-Americans and Parade All-Americans. We played well. We were not Cinderella. We earned every bit of it, and the speeches going to the governor. We're still waiting for Obama to call us. My phone's ready in case he wants to call us because we want to go to the White House.
All right. Well, Gary, congratulations and best of luck next season. I know you got a strong team returning then, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Well, Jim, I appreciate your work. I'm a big Ranger fan. They're my team.
All right. There we go. John?
Wow, great stuff, Noxie. Thanks for finding him, and congratulations to the Aggies. We were all watching that with interest during spring training. I think it was. Maybe it was early in the year. And I like Coach's call of the can of corn out there. Haven't used that one yet. Pennington fouls that one off.
This is a kind of game I would have had a hard time predicting this kind of game for Kobe. When you look at his last 2 starts, he pitched 16 innings. I wouldn't have had a hard time predicting no walks because he's only walked 2 in the last 16 innings. But he had 17 strikeouts in the last 16 innings.
Yeah.
Today, no walks, no strikeouts. A lot of balls hit in the air, a lot of lazy pop-ups. I think Kobe's probably throwing a lot more fastballs today than he normally would throw. As Steve Busby and Nolan Ryan both said, they think he's got probably as good command of his fastball today as he has in any start this year. And so he's pretty much riding his fastball.
And one thing I'll tell you he is not doing is ever glancing at the velocity of said fastball. I talked to him about that again after his last start, that complete game in Seattle. And I said, did you even look at your velocity? Because we noticed that he was up around 91 or 92 on some of his last pitches of the night. And he said, I don't even look at it. He said the only time he looked at his velocity in that Seattle start was the home run ball that Justin Smoke hit off him. And it was a changeup. This one's hitting the air. And it's out of here. So Pennington does what Smoke did before. Hit a solo home run. It was the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And in the case of that Smoke home run, the only thing Colby was wondering when he looked at the velocity is maybe he didn't get enough off of that changeup and it was up around 86 miles an hour. But he said, I looked, it was 81. It was where it was supposed to be. He just did a good job of hitting. .373 feet on the homer. DeJesus now. 1 out and a run in the 6th.
2 more fastballs.
Colby needed just 8 pitches in that 5th inning. And that one's
inside. Little rain. Look at that.
Where'd that come from? Well, we were talking about it being kind of heavy out here. I didn't know it was that heavy.
Caught everybody by surprise.
I saw a couple people with umbrellas, so good for them. Ponchos coming out. And it's 1-2 to the leadoff man. It's David DeJesus against Colby Lewis as the rain moves in here. Fouled down toward the tarp. She looks happy. It's not that bad, Mom.
First game I came to, I knew it would rain.
Yeah. She was thinking she brought the towel for keeping the sweat off her hands. There's someone prepared. Just like math, umbrellas are hard. And suddenly it's not a picture perfect night, but there's a moment. Just missing with that one. And it's 2-2. A couple of flyouts so far for DeJesus.
Brought their tablecloth.
Yep. Weren't sure if they were going to have a picnic or a rain shower. They prepared either way. Count runs full.
Until the last 2 hitters, a lot of quick outs in this game.
And there's a walk to DeJesus. And Mike Maddox will come out and have a little chat with his pitcher, Colby Lewis. Derek Barton is coming up. And the homestand concludes this Sunday with the Rangers and Angels at 2:05. The first 10,000 kids, 13 and under, will receive a red Neftali Feliz jersey. Compliments of Dr. Pepper and Walgreens. Call 972-RANGERS. Or visit TexasRangers.com and bring the whole family.
Get a little more serious now. They're going to put the tarp on.
We're going to bring the tarp out as the grounds crew is scrambling. And the rain is picking up here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. You see the difficult work of the grounds crew. They have to work very fast to cover the mound and the home plate area. Before then, the entire infield is covered by the tarp, which will be rolled out.
They had the feeling it was going to start raining harder because the grounds crew was in position right next to the visitors' dugout. Generally, if it just a little shower, they'd stay down the left field line. So they were ready to go.
They are usually in the know, and you see how their process works. A tractor will drag the tarp out, but then they'll do it the old-fashioned way. Each member of the crew grabs a handle and runs. Now we're seeing some lightning and hearing some thunder, and as the tarp is put on the field, we will go to our rain delay programming, which is a little Oklahoma Sooner spring football preview. We'll update you throughout the course of the evening, and of course we'll be back when the rain shower ends. 5-1 Rangers. Enjoy football. And let's take a look at how we got to this 5-1 count. It started in the 4th inning, runs-wise for the Rangers. A bases-loaded walk to Mike Napoli brings Michael Young home, and then Craig Gentry with his first RBI as a Ranger makes it a 2-run 4th inning for the Rangers. Adrian Beltre gets 2 of his own here. The 2-run bomb is first in 16 games, and that would chase Brett Anderson from the game. He leaves, having surrendered 4. Napoli comes up then, and he drives one to the wall, sending David Murphy home. And the Rangers at a 5-0 lead at that point. Colby Lewis back out on the mound. He surrendered a home run, and that was with 1 out in the 6th inning. That's the only run that he has allowed, and after the rain delay, he's coming back out there, which is not always expected, Tom Green.
No, I think a lot depends on the pitcher and how he feels. In fact, pretty much all of it does. In this particular case, I think Ron Washington is glad that Kobe's able to go back out there. The bullpen is a little bit depleted. You're counting on Kobe to hopefully go 7 or 8 innings. You've got the 2 lefties, Oliver and Rhodes, and Felice late in the game. Bush just pitched. Tom Cohen-Tucker pitched yesterday. So if Kobe can pitch the rest of the 6th inning and maybe the 7th inning, that'll just make it a little easier on the bullpen.
So he'll take some warm-up tosses. The rain delay officially occurred at 8:50 this evening, and we're sneaking up on exactly 60 minutes. It's now 9:48. As we get ready to resume play, we'll have David DeJesus down there at first base, the leadoff man for Bob Guerin's Oakland Athletics. Drew a walk-off Colby. He was the next batter after the home run hitter, who was Cliff Pennington. And this Saturday, the Rangers concert series continues with Toby Mac performing on the North Lawn at 1 o'clock. It's presented by I Am Second, and then the Rangers face the Angels at 3:10. For tickets to a Saturday of family fun at Rangers Ballpark, call 972-RANGERS or go to TexasRangers.com. Derek Barton will be the batter, and we didn't lose the entire crowd. Quite a few people hung around through the wet weather to watch the Rangers try to even this series with the Oakland Athletics at a game apiece. Oakland beat the Rangers and C.J. Wilson last night in game 1 of the series, and Texas is 1-4 so far this season against the A's. And Derek Barton gets ready to step in against Colby. In his 2 trips before the rain delay, Barton with a pop out and a ground out. Colby's still dealing. Wound up being a 59-minute delay officially. And we are playing baseball again. Popped up. Foul and out of play. And there you see the action in the Rangers bullpen. The lefty is Arthur Rhodes. The right-handed pitcher is Dave Bush.
Yeah, I think Ron's not going to take any chances depending on how Kobe feels. He's going to give him a shot at it, but
into right field. Rounding second and headed for third is DeJesus. He's in there.
In Kobe's last start, when he struck out 11 in Seattle, almost every one of them was on a good hard breaking ball down, set up by a good fastball, but all the strikeouts came on a breaking ball. Today he hasn't thrown as many breaking balls. That one didn't have the sharp bite to it that we saw in Seattle.
And as yet, he hasn't struck anybody out as we play with 1 out here in the 6th inning. No walks and no strikeouts for Colby, who really did cruise through the first 5, though. In fact, he faced only 1 more than the minimum in the first 5 innings. First 5 1/3. And Sweeney was the guy who had the single. He's actually got 2 singles, on one of which he was erased by a double play. There are the pitches thus far. They all look like they were strikes, but we're at 2-1. And that'll make it 3-1 to Sweeney. Rangers put up 2 runs in the 4th, 3 more in the 5th inning. Adrian Beltre with the big blow of that 5th. Fouled back.
Helped him out right there. That would have been ball 4.
Sweeney knew it. He was a little frustrated.
And probably the last guy in the A's that you'd want to see hit in this inning with men on base is Willingham. He's the one that's hurt the Rangers the most. He's hit 4 home runs already this year against the Rangers. Love to see a double play right here. Trying to keep Barton close at first base so that if there is a ground ball, it'll be easier to turn a double play. He might be running right here anyway.
And that ball slapped toward left field. David Murphy coming on, catches the sinking liner.
David Murphy hit a line shot to left field yesterday with a couple of men on, and it was caught off the bat. This looks like a base hit to left field. But David closed on it quickly, got a good jump on it, and makes the play. Any thoughts of a base hit or erased?
It does bring up Willingham. 350 with 8 runs batted in against the Rangers already this year. Game number 6 between the two clubs. And that one's on the outside part of the plate for a strike. Barton's at first, DeJesus at third. Colby Lewis just misses now to Josh Willingham. Wow. Looked like the same pitch twice, but it's 1-1. And that'll make it 2-1. Five RBI for Willingham yesterday. That's a season high for anybody on the A's. And a check at first base. The 3-1 pitch. Fouled hard, but out of play. And that'll run it full. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. And rattled around down there by some good Rangers fans who hung out through the rain delay. 59 minutes of a rain delay didn't dampen the enthusiasm of these fans. They cheered the full count pitch from Colby Lewis. Popped him up. Ian Kinsler makes the play. Colby Lewis gets it done. Rangers lead it 5-1. Jackpot worth $1,800 in dinner for two to Sonic Driving. Tonight the Rangers are heading for Linda Ogren from Dyke, Texas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Linda Ogren from Dyke, Texas will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic. Good luck to Linda, as it's the top of Ron Washington's batting order stepping in. Julio Bourbon against the new pitcher, who is Jerry Blevins.
A's have 4 left-handers out in their bullpen. Blevins, Breslow, and St. Percy, and Brian Fuentes, who's the closer right now, and only 3 right-handers.
Slowly hit towards second base. They'll have to hurry, and they don't get him.
I'm watching Julio in batting practice, and he was laying down a lot of really good bunts. Probably bunted that one a little bit harder than he wanted to. It just goes to show you it doesn't take a perfect bunt from Julio with his speed to beat it out. But that's a good sign, beating out a bunt for Julio.
Tied for the American League lead in that category a year ago. 17 of them. And now it's Blevins to Elvis. He shows bunt. Elvis on base back in the third with a walk. Strikeout and a ground out to go with that. And he bunts it well down towards third. They'll have to hurry to get him. They do, but he sends Julio over to second.
And you see how far in LaRoche is, and even though that's a great bunt, where LaRoche is playing, anticipating a bunt, he was able to get Elvis, but Elvis gets the sacrifice and moves Julio to second base.
And it brings up Ian. If you missed the beginning of the game, Ron Washington made a dramatic change in his batting order today, moving Ian into the 3-hole where he is right now, and Julio Bourbon up to the top spot. Michael Young's hitting cleanup for the first time in his career. And so far so good with the new batting order. It's a 5-1 Rangers lead. Bottom of the 6th inning.
Michael has a single and a double, and he scored twice. Beltre, who moved down to 6th in the order, has a 2-run homer. So it really has worked great.
Ian walked in the first inning. But he had a couple of hits yesterday. (2-0) in there for a strike to make it 2 balls and 1 strike to Ian, who was a .270 hitter against Oakland. That one misses to make it 3-1. It's a good hitter's count to Ian Kinsler.
Blevins came into the game with 11 innings, 11 walks, and 11 strikeouts. There's the 12th walk.
So he breaks the 11s.
quickly with a third of an inning. He's up to 12 innings.
All right. So now he's going to make all the numbers 12. Here's Michael Young. Who now has 232 hits against the Oakland A's in his career. .50 hits on the year for Michael Young. He swings at the first Blevins offering. Michael, the only Rangers player to have started every game of the year thus far. That one misses. It's 1-1. Rangers third base coach Dave Anderson with a good play on that one. A little foul. Chopped and then delivered to those fellas who hung out through the rain delay. You get good seats like that to come to a game, I don't blame you. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Michael Young. And with a little speed on the base paths, Blevins takes a look. Michael Young comes through again. It's into the gap in right center field. It's headed to the wall. Julio Boborn is home. Here comes Ian Kinsler. Michael's in at third base. And the Rangers lead it 7-1.
Up the last 3 innings, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. A single, a double, and a triple for Michael. And that's 2 RBIs to the total right here. He waits on that low fastball, drives it into the gap. 28 RBIs for Michael now.
And he's liking the 4-hole just fine, thank you very much. He cleaned up that time from the cleanup spot. And here comes Mitch Moreland. A couple of singles for Mitch earlier in the game. One in the 2nd inning. One back in the 4th. He scored a run in the 4th. The 2nd Rangers run when Craig Gentry drove him home.
It was a nice turnaround. The A's had a shot to get right back in the game in the 6th. Sweeney and Willingham both swung at ball 4 in their at-bats. Instead of scoring more, they settled for 1. The Rangers come back and score a couple of their own.
A little more insurance for the Rangers, who now lead it 7-1. And that one's hit toward first base. Nice diving play by Barton, who hustles to beat Moreland. 2nd out of the inning, and Michael shakes his head no.
Play by Barton. Tough play for a right hand with a glove on his left hand to go across his body to make that play.
Had the presence of mind to look over to Michael, and then had the wheels to beat Mitch Moreland to the bag.
Yeah, he's going to have to take it himself because Blevins didn't get over to cover.
So now it's Beltre. He had a home run in the 5th. 2-run shot, first in 16 games for him. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. And we check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, a little in-game instruction going on right now between Ron Washington and Julio Bourbon, and him leading off the inning with that bunt. And the first thing he did was look to the dugout and see Wash's reaction. Wash, obviously giddy, and clapped his hands and pointed straight to him. You could tell that they talked about the fact that he was going to do that to open up this inning, and the fact that Julio laid it down and executed, you know, Wash was happy about it.
Very nice, Emily. Thank you very much. Wash in that coach mode, coaching up Julio as the manager of the club. Right toward the dugout.
Boy, they were done if they didn't have that in front of them. Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. Even on the carom, it went pretty hard into the stands. Beltre hits this one in the air toward left. Shallow coming in now. Josh Willingham, and he makes the play. But the Rangers had a big inning, and they've padded their lead. It's 7-1, Texas. By your Texas Ford dealer. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout days. Well, it's time for the 7th inning, and there are still some young fans here hanging out, watching the Rangers as they padded their lead in the bottom of the 6th. Colby starts off Hideki Matsui with a ground ball foul, and the net man, the new net man, can't come up with it.
Yeah, we're going to have to find another name for this guy, because there's only one net man.
Yeah, good point.
Look at her. She tried to beat the net to the ball.
Yeah, she got a little closer with the glove. What a smile. In there for a strike. It's 1-2 to Matsui. Couple of flyouts to him. Both to center field. Second and fifth innings before the rain delay. Colby's just gone over 100. He's at 102 pitches now. And this one's in the air toward left. David Murphy makes the play. First out of the seventh. And here comes the catcher, Suzuki. A's have only 4 hits on the night compared to 10 by the Rangers. And Suzuki's popped
They just
up.
keep popping the fastball up. Colby's going to get an extra inning and 2/3 coming back after a 1-hour rain delay. And that's a big deal with the bullpen in the state that it's in right now. Get that extra 1 2/3. Ron doesn't have to go to the bullpen. And it's set up pretty well for the 8th and 9th, depending on which way you want to go. Felice could pitch. He's only pitched once since he came back. Dave Bush has been warming up. He just threw 60 or 70 pitches on Sunday.
Yeah. In a spot start.
Now, if he was a starting pitcher, this would be his day to throw between starts anyway.
Grounded toward Beltre. Diving play made from his knees. Makes the throw. How about that?
I'll save a couple extra pitches right there.
1, 2, 3 inning in the 7th for Colby Lewis. Another 8-pitch inning. And Adrian Beltre makes sure it stays at 8. A diving stop and a throw from the knees. And the Rangers lead it 7-1. Chevy is a proud supporter of youth baseball leagues in your community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswire.com. Got a new third baseman out there. Connor Jackson has moved in for Andy LaRoche. David Murphy slices it to left. Willingham has it. First out of the inning.
Now batting catcher, Mike
brings up Mike Napoli. Mike's had RBIs in each of his last 2 at-bats. And Mike takes a strike. That one's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. And he swings and misses at that one. He's down on strikes.
Curveball on the outside corner.
And LaRoche was replaced at third base by Jackson because Andy moved over to second base. And he will replace Mark Ellis there. And that's a strike to Gentry. Craig got his first big league RBI of the year. Single back in the 4th inning. And he's quickly behind 0-2. There's Darren Oliver getting ready in the Rangers bullpen. What a night from Colby Lewis. Swing and a miss. Blevins makes pretty quick work of the bottom third of the Rangers order, but they still lead it. 7-1 Texas at the end of 7.
To the 8th shot of time for the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Chris from Garland because all game long he's been getting his buddies going with the chant of what? Let's go Rangers?
Hey, let's go Rangers!
There we go. All right, here's the bag, here's the hat. You got anything else, Chris?
Hey, all these people behind me, they run. Let's go, baby. They know what to do. The Rangers are #1. They're going to follow them till we beat them in the World Championship, baby. We're going to win in the championship. Let's go, Rangers!
All right, Chris, way to go. A little fired up.
Let's go, Rangers! Let's go, Rangers!
Pop up now. Colby Lewis is back out there. And he induces that pop up to David Murphy. LaRoche is retired.
I think that's 16 balls in the air today that are outs. And if you're gonna give up balls in the air, today's the day to do it. No jet stream. If anything, the elements are hurting a fly ball. But most of the ones Kobe's given up have just been lazy pop-up type fly balls. Matsui hit one pretty good to center field. But other than that, they've been pretty much routine fly balls. And very effective fastball. It just goes to show you. So Kobe's thrown a lot of fastballs today. And just forget about the velocity. The way that they're swinging the bat against him, he might as well be throwing 95 miles an hour. They really haven't done a whole lot against him all day long. And they're seeing a lot of fastballs, and they're just not getting the head of the bat out on it.
That's his 113th pitch. That matches his season high. 120 would equal his career high. He's even with Pennington at 2-2. And that one's down in left field. He's rounding first and headed towards second. Throw comes in from David Murphy. And it'll bring up the top of the order.
And they'll bring out Ron Washington. I guess that's going to be at 114 pitches. That's a pretty good day for Kobe to come back out after that 1 hour rain delay and give Wash 2 more innings after that. That's pretty nice.
Diving play made by the third baseman LaRoche on his counterpart, the other third baseman, Adrian Beltre. Good play. Doing more on defense, Andy LaRoche. Josh Hamilton, we told you earlier in the game, is making progress, but he's getting a little bored over there on the bench. Wash talks about how he will start to drive people crazy with his constant chatter, and he's working on a new position apparently. He's got it. Pretty good form, I think. Darren Oliver in there now. He starts David DeJesus off with a strike. Pennington's down at second. He doubled as the last man to face Colby Lewis tonight. And that one's fouled off to make it 1-2. A's are 2 games over 500 for the first time all year. Rangers try and ensure that they get back to just a game over. And this one's grounded towards second. Ian up with it. Makes the play. Pennington moves on to third. And Derek Barton comes to the plate.
Colby almost came a few pitches away from having 3 straight starts of at least 8 innings. He'd gone 8 innings in his last 2 starts. And if Darren can get this last out, he will have given up 1 earned run in this start. A total of 6 earned runs in about 23 or 24 innings over his last 3 starts. The numbers Colby put up last year. A little bit of a slow start statistically for Colby this year, but he's definitely right back on track now, the last 3 starts. Good effort today. I love the way he came back out after that rain delay and threw about 25 or 30 more pitches, pitched 2 more innings.
And you certainly get the feeling that if it hadn't been for the rain delay, he would have gone 8 or more. The way he was dealing. Foul tip. Makes it 2-2. 2 out here in the 8th inning. Rangers with a 6-run lead. And that'll run it full. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. Barton thought it was a ball. Sam Holbrook says not so fast. It's time for our Brown Hand Center Great Hands play of the game. And how about Adrian Beltre with a diving stop of his own, and then from his knees he beats Ellis to first base with the throw. Nice stretch by Mitch Moreland, too, our brown hand center. Great hands, play of the game.
What a throw, too.
Unbelievable. And the new pitcher for the Oakland Athletics is Craig Breslow. He'll start off against Julio Bourbon. There you see Breslow, one of the other lefties from out there. Craig hasn't allowed a run in 12 of his last 13 outings. And this one sliced toward left field. And that's the first out of the 8th inning for the Rangers as we check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, we talked last night about Tommy Hunter and his final rehab appearance. He was tweaked that groin once again, but he came back here for an MRI, and things not as bad as he originally thought. Much happier today was Tommy.
I was very upset yesterday. So, I mean, just the fact that it happened again, because I'm not going out there, you know, playing like not to get hurt. So I felt good. I felt good the entire game yesterday, and it just happened.
He saw Dr. Keith Meister, and it revealed the MRI did a mild strain, a grade 1 strain to that groin. They said he'll start doing long toss by the weekend, and then hopefully we'll be back on the mound within the next couple of weeks. So definitely not as bad as we originally thought, which is a good thing for Tommy and the Rangers, guys.
Emily, thanks. Yeah. Tommy was understandably very upset yesterday. It was literally the last, his 79th pitch of the outing, where he tweaked the groin on his last pitch. Ian Kinsler fights this one off and gets it into left field.
He's been on 3 times, couple walks and a base hit. Michael's got a shot for the cycle if he drives one out of here right here. He's had a single, a double, and a triple in his last 3 at-bats. He could have it right in order.
Natural cycle.
That's after striking out the first time up.
So there's drama left here. Michael Young faces Craig Breslow. Ian Kinsler on first base. And that misses. There's the last cycle. Benji Molina's right after the All-Star break last season. That was such a great moment in that Rangers game, as the triple was the last of his cycle that he had to accomplish, and the most unlikely for Benji.
Which shows how random hitting for the cycle is.
Yeah.
You see some of the people that have done it.
Two-one pitch. Misses. And now Michael's got a real hitter's count. It's 3-1. There's the Rangers bullpen. Feliz. Slides down the right side. Foul. The Hardy Souls have hung around through a 59-minute rain delay here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. And there's been a lot to like about this Rangers game. Colby Lewis perhaps foremost among them. The only run he surrendered was on a home run, a solo shot. Now Ian Kinsler was headed off, but that's a walk to Michael Young. And it'll bring up Mitch Moreland.
First baseman, Mitch Moreland.
31,655 were here at the beginning. Quite that many left now, but a lot have stayed. We appreciate their patronage. And those that are still here, their dedication. Mitch had a single in the second inning, a single in the fourth, followed by a fly out and a ground out. And the foul leaving it up at 1-1. In there for a strike, and it's 1-2 to Mitch.
Came right back and caught the corner.
Grounded toward first. Fair ball. Barton has it. Makes the play. And that'll do it for the 8th inning. We're headed to the 9th. It's Neffy time at Rangers Ballpark in our back in with Dana Larson over on the set of Rangers Live.
Yes, John, the postgame show is coming up in just a little bit, and it's a great night to have our pitcher emeritus here with us. Steve Busby will help us break down this impressive outing by Colby Lewis. And also, we'll find out from Ron Washington if this new look lineup is a new favorite of his. Emily Jones will be handling the player interviews, and we'll talk about Matt Harrison going tomorrow as well. That's all coming up in just a bit, guys.
That sounds great, Dana. We appreciate it. And, of course, a little late night duty for Dana and Buzz down there as well. They've sat through the 59-minute rain delay. 1-1 now make it 1-2, or 2-1 rather, to Sweeney. Under the glove of Adrian Beltre. And Sweeney is on.
So Darren was going to face the left-hand hitter Sweeney, and that's it. Ron Washington going to come out and make a change.
So that'll do it for Darren Oliver. And there you see the Rangers closer headed to the mound. 7-1. We take a break with the pitching change, and we're back after this on Fox. Nobody out here, top of the 9th inning, and Feliz is on. Take a look at his numbers.
As usual, they're pretty solid numbers. You normally wouldn't see Neffy in a game like this, but he's got to get his work in. When a manager brings a closer into this situation, he hopes it's about a 15-pitch inning. Get your work in, but don't overdo it.
He has converted 17 consecutive save tries in the regular season. This not a save opportunity at 7-1. And he faces Willingham with a runner at first as Ryan Sweeney reached via the error. Regarding those 17 straight saves, it's the longest active streak in Major League Baseball. And you see the last blown save was way back in August of 2010. Heath Bell had gotten to about 41 in a row, but lost that over the weekend. Popped up and headed back towards us. Foul and out of play. Baltimore beat Seattle in extra innings tonight. 7-6 was the final there, and the Angels lead the White Sox now. They're playing in the 6th inning. LA with a 6-2 lead over Chicago.
I was keeping track of that Seattle game, just looking at the scoreboard. It seemed like Seattle scored once in the top of the 13th, so Baltimore must have gotten 2. That game lasted a long time.
Yeah, it just ended. Wave and a miss by Willingham. He's tied for 4th in the American League with 37 strikeouts. See if Feliz can make it 38. Got a piece of it. His big night was last night with those 5 RBI. Rangers have kept him in check tonight. 2 pop-outs to Ian Kinsler, and he grounded into a double play in the 4th. Here's the payoff pitch to him. A little high for a ball. So now it's Matsui against Feliz. 4 balls and 3 strikes so far from Neffy. Matsui's got 3 flyouts to center, center, and left. And this one's popped up. Coming on is Bourbon. He's got it.
Matsui's hit 3 fly balls to the outfield today, 3 of them to Bourbon.
And it'll bring up Suzuki. Got a couple of flyouts of his own and a ground out. Also got a 5-game hitting streak against Texas on the line here. He's hit safely in each one of the games these two teams have played against each other this year. And the first pitch misses high. What's left of this crowd of 31,655, still quite vocal in the background. As we sneak up on the 11 o'clock hour here. And the 2-0 pitch from Feliz. Makes it 3-0. Willingham at first base. Ryan Sweeney at second with 1 out here in the 9th inning. Rangers trying to even the series at 1-1. They'll play the rubber game tomorrow. And that's a walk.
I'm glad Matsui swung at the first pitch. Made it out.
So the bases are loaded here in the 9th. Mike Maddox comes out to have a chat with his closer. There are the numbers on Neffy already. Twice as many balls as strikes. Neffy earned his 6th save of the season with a perfect 9th inning on Saturday. Needed just 11 pitches to retire the Yankees.
Well, he's throwing 92 and 93 until Mike Maddox came out. Next pitch is 97.
Connor Jackson was playing third, but hitting for the second baseman Ellis, and he hits this one in the air. Julio has it. Tagging at third is Sweeney, and there's another run. So it's 7-2. Rangers with the lead, and Andy LaRoche coming to the plate. Strike one to him. That game against the Yankees on Saturday was the first for Feliz since April the 20th. And the first since his first ever trip to the disabled list. In there for a strike, and he's quickly ahead of Andy LaRoche.
His breaking ball that he's thrown, there's no way Hitter's going to be able to hit that pitch after watching 15 straight fastballs.
You see, it's gotten a tiny bit chilly here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. 71 degrees now. As this vocal crowd that's left cheers on Feliz. Inside with that one, and it's 2-2. LaRoche fouls it off and stays alive. And a 95-mile-an-hour offering from Feliz. And the crowd revs up. Anticipating the 2-2 pitch. Grounded towards short. To Ian Kinsler for the easy out. And there you go, boys. Rangers get the victory. 7-2 the final. As Feliz comes in and gets the job done. Colby Lewis, one of the heroes of this one. What a great game by Colby today as he came back out after a rain delay. And there's another one of the heroes, Adrian Beltre, who had a 2-run homer back in the 5th inning. His first home run in 16 games. Adrian Beltre with a couple of RBIs on the night. Michael Young has a couple as well. So does Mike Napoli. And Craig Gentry with his first of the year as the Rangers beat the A's 7-2. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By the Progressive Insurance Group for a money-saving car insurance quote. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. That will do it for now. We've got lots more coming up on Rangers Live from Rangers Ballpark in Arlington after a 7-2 win over the A's.